Okay, guys, now a lot of you, geez, over the entire 5.5+ years we've had the channel, have asked about my wife and why you don't see her. And she did just appear in the Thanksgiving Day video we did, which took a lot of coercing just to get her to do that for no other reason than she's kind of camera shy. And plus, you know, if she appears on tape or on camera with me, it proves that she's with me. So you can understand why someone would be a little reticent about that. I certainly understand it. So I want to talk to you guys today about my wife, let you get to know a little bit more about her and how much she means to me. Before I do, there was something I wanted to talk to you guys about real quick, and it's kind of a favor I wanted to ask of all of you. Many of you have seen I started making these really creepy, strange videos. If you haven't watched them yet and they came up in your feed, they're the ones with me most of the time shirtless, just in odd looking facial expression with weird variety of stuff superimposed onto the picture, odd short titles. Well, I love making stuff like that. I mean, I enjoy, don't get me wrong, I enjoy everything we do here at the channel. I love the reaction videos. I certainly love learning more and more about Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball in general. I'm having so much fun having discovered Filthy Frank because of you guys, having discovered Egotas because of you guys. I mean, all these things. Brandon, I enjoy all that, but there's nothing like creating my own stuff. And what I found with these videos is something that's been really, really fun for me in my dark, twisted sense of humor. So what I'm asking is, if you guys haven't watched them, I'm going to put the link to the playlist of the ones I've done so far. That playlist is just a question mark. So wherever you see a question mark followed by a link, it's that playlist. And the reason I do that is I want these to, for those of you, you guys know me, but for those of people we have coming in that are new to the channel, I thought it might be fun to have a little fun with them if I can direct them towards those videos. In the comment section, I don't comment in any of them. I want to keep them as vague as possible. Those videos, if you'll notice, I don't edit them. There's not even a dissolve at the beginning and the end. It just starts and stops. They're really weird. They're really bizarre. I think they're really funny. I'm hoping you guys will try them out for those of you who haven't. And spread the word. I generally don't, ask you guys to do that for me too much, but I really hope these will take off because I absolutely love doing them. That's the kind of comedy I really love creating on my own. And plus, it's a fun thing for the channel, and we'll be doing reaction videos for as long as I can see, but eventually we're going to catch up, on all the details on Dragon Ball and stuff like that. So the comedy videos I create, as well as these vlogs, which I'm also having a great time with, will be always a backbone of the channel no matter where it goes. So please check those out, and if you would, recommend them to anybody that you think would like them, because I'd really like to see those take off, and I really enjoy doing them. So if you guys would help me out there, I appreciate it. Oh, and in the comment section of those videos, as I was saying, I try and keep them mysterious and weird, so I don't respond to comments there, but I am reading all you guys' comments. Don't be shy about having fun with new people. If new people are coming in going, what the fuck, tell them whatever you want. Tell them that I make these videos and I honestly don't even remember that I make them, that I'm losing my mind, and this is legit. Whatever you want to do, make up any story for the new people. I mean, just as kind of a troll, not to be mean to anybody, just as kind of a troll, because unless they see this video too, you'll be able to hook them in, and just know that I'll be laughing my ass off while you guys are fucking with people coming into those videos. But again, it's kind of a big deal to me because I'd really like to see if you guys like these, because I enjoy doing them. So if you would, check them out. Okay, back to today's vlog. Well, the reason I call this Finding Mrs. Candy is kind of tongue-in-cheek because, as many of you know, Curtis Candy was my ring name in wrestling. I really grew fond of the character, so that's why I kept that name for anything I do in entertainment, whether I'm doing stand-up. Usually most of if I do a hypnosis show, and what I've been doing here on YouTube was always Curtis Candy or Curtis the Spazgamer. So back in the day when even more people, there's as many people in the world now know me as Curtis Candy as do my real name, Rusty Williams. But back in the day when I was wrestling a heavy schedule, lots of people knew me as Curtis Candy. And my wife didn't come to a lot of the wrestling shows, which I completely understand. You have to envision it. When it's someone you love doing things, taking horrific beatings, and you're always this far away from a possibly crippling botched move or something like that, it's hard to watch. So I never tried to get her to go. I never tried to talk her into it. She'd come to matches here or there, like if other family members were going and stuff like that. And if I got too carried away and the blood was flowing too much, she might have to turn her back or walk out of the room. But she came to some. But the one thing that would drive her nuts is when the kids at the shows would realize she's my wife and call her Mrs. Candy. So as soon as we found out that bothered her, of course, I spread it around. And anytime she would come to my day job, the guys there would call her Mrs. Candy just to try and get under her skin. So that's the thing. If you ever get to meet us in real life and you want to get a rise out of my wife, just say, oh, Mrs. Candy, I wanted to meet you. And, duck, because she's gotten older and she's all of 5 foot tall, little Italian woman, but she might try and leap and punch you or something. So, just be aware. But that's why I call this Finding Mrs. Candy. And I also call it that because I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about our relationship. And we're really fortunate. We have what I think is a really exceptional and a really great relationship. My wife and my son Braxton are my best friends. And by saying that, I mean there's nothing I do in day-to-day life that isn't better or enhanced by having my wife do it along with me. I just like spending time with her, and I want to just share what I found, because it's not like I just stumbled into this. I was married once before, like many of you who are a little bit older, and hopefully not some of you who are just going into the dating world will experience. I've had plenty of bad relationships, plenty of them. So I walked a lot of miles in the mud before I got on the golden highway here, where I really enjoy life and really enjoy who I'm with. My wife and I met. I took a driving job for a local ARC, which is Association for Retarded Children. It's basically people with developmental disabilities. And I took a job driving there, and she was already working there. So we worked together at the time. We'd worked together. I left the job to go do something else. I got a better paying job. And we hadn't started a relationship other than being friends. That would come sometime later. But the funny thing was, back then, believe it or not, I was even more... what's the word for it? I was even more of a psycho than I am now. I had just been, I was either at the tail end of or just come out of a bad marriage. Had kind of an edge to me anyway, was working out all the time. Never did juice, but it seems like when you're working out a lot, that was juice for me. It made me aggressive. So I didn't fit in quite well in that, in a workplace environment that, even though it was a driving job, they considered themselves to have a certain level of decorum. And my level of decorum was, if somebody pissed me off, I would tell them that I was going to beat the fuck out of them. And the sad thing is, I wouldn't just tell them that. I was willing to do that. So I didn't fit really well around there. So about a year later, after I had left work there, and I had come back and asked my wife if she wanted to start dating me, when we started seeing each other, no less than 5 or 6 different people at her job pulled her to the side. Her boss even took her out on a ride together so they could have some alone time to ask her if she's really sure about what she wants to do. Yeah, this is the kind of influence I have on people. They were like, especially with, my, and I got a video coming up soon about my daughter with the disabilities, and that's, of course, my wife's natural daughter. And they're like, do you really want him around Renee? They didn't know that I just adore Renee, my stepdaughter. They only know the side of me that was like, if you say something wrong or if you get on my bad side, I might hurt you, because that's just who I was. So they were all like appalled that we were together, but somehow it works. And my wife and I have a lot of similarities. We both love Disney. We both love spending time together. We have a lot of the same interests, but we have a lot of stark differences. And the probably the most obvious one is senses of humor. My wife would think, like these videos I asked you guys to watch with me shirtless, and, well, again, they defy description. My wife would not find those funny at all. She would find them disgusting, deplorable. She would just find them... Prostitute Mickey. I freaking love those videos. You guys know that. I love that type of humor, even though I'm a Disney nut. Those videos would make my wife cry. I mean, she would hate them so much, she would cry. And she's very old school. If you get her, and especially for those of you who aren't in the U.S., and for those of you who are under 80 years old, I always call it hee-haw humor. There was an old TV show called Hee-Haw about a bunch of hillbillies telling jokes and singing songs and whatever the fuck else they were doing. Probably, I'm sure, they were blood related and porking each other as well behind the scenes. Who knows? They might have been doing it on camera for all I know. But that's her type of humor, the old school I Love Lucy type of, oh gosh, gee willikers, leave it to beaver humor. And that's not me. I don't care for that. So we are total opposites when it comes to that. But that's what I found is in life, it's not a measure of, there's no secret formula about how many things you have to be simpatico on as opposed to how many things you might be diametrically opposed on. There's no formula for that. It just works or it doesn't. But the main thing is, as you move forward in relationships, don't fool yourself. Because I did that. Never kid yourself. Be honest about how you honestly feel. Be honest to yourself about how the other person really makes you feel. It's easy to say, oh, I love doing things with her. Oh, I love doing things with him. But make sure you really do, and you're not convincing yourself of that so the relationship will work. Because a lot of people do that, and it's a bad pitfall to get into because it doesn't work out well. And as much as I don't consider myself an old school person, there are certain things that are very important to me that are very much old school. And that is the way I treat my wife or any woman that I'm in a relationship with, or not even in a relationship with, my own daughters, that I treat women who are important to me. I always open a car door. I don't know, that's the way I do things. If we need something late at night, we got to run to the store to get something, I go. My wife yells at me all the time. She's like, I can do it. I know you can do it. If somebody's got to be inconvenienced, if somebody's got to go out of the house into the cold, into the night, into the rain, whatever it is, to go out and do something, it's going to be me, because I don't want my wife to be inconvenienced. And I never, ever, ever want to give life's nasty little twists and turns, like getting in the car and just driving to the store. Anything that could potentially lead to a problem where somebody hits her vehicle or something like that, I want it to be me, not her. And that's not something I do for show. That's not something I do because I think I should. It's because I want to, and it makes me feel better about everything. Protecting her and protecting my kids is the most important thing in the world to me. And before I get in too much further, I picked out a few pictures. She won't mind this if I show you guys a few pictures I thought you might enjoy seeing. Almost forgot all about these. And it's just a few random pics I took from over the years. Of course, several of them are from Disney World because you guys know what Disney nuts we are. This was when we went down, obviously, to see the Statue of Liberty. And I love this picture. It's my wife and Braxton just looking out over the boat at the statue. This was, I believe, 2011, 2012. I just love that picture. Let me see. What else do we have here? This was down in Myrtle Beach at Medieval Times. We had a really good time at Medieval Times. My knight, for any of you who don't know, you're on one knight's team. My knight didn't win. He sucked. I told him, too. I wasn't shy about it. You fucking suck, dude. Give me that armor. I'll go. No, I didn't say that because I would get my ass kicked. But this was a picture of Spaz Kid and my wife at Medieval Times. It was a really good time. We had fun that day. This was when my wife went with me to a bowl game, a Notre Dame bowl game. It was Notre Dame against Rutgers in the Pinstripe Bowl a couple of years ago. And she was willing to sit through the cold and the yuck to be with me at the bowl game. And this is a woman who I would come home, she obviously hated me getting hurt in wrestling, but I would come home with those gashes you saw in the other video I did with my head laid open and stuff, and she would stand back there like a trooper because I hated going to the hospital, and if the cut was where I couldn't see it, she would have to put the super glue in and hold it together for me all the while going like this. She is truly a trooper. This is one of the times we were able to get away, just the two of us at Disney, and this was at the Polynesian Resort, and we were having breakfast there. That's an awesome place. We like this picture because that hat there, I don't know if you guys know this at Disney World, and again, we're huge Disney nuts, but that sorcerer's hat has been taken down. It no longer exists, so we really like the fact that we have some pictures from that time because it's no longer there, and we really always loved that hat, so that picture was kind of cool for us. And this was just a picture we really liked in front of the castle. They have, on this little terrace, you can pay an extra price and you can have a dessert fair, I guess you call it. It's just, all they do is they just load you up with every kind of dessert in the world, and you serve yourself. There's everything there, every kind of dessert you can imagine, And you get to watch the fireworks right from this terrace. And at the beginning of it, Tinkerbell goes right over your head when she comes out of the castle and everything. So but that was a great time. We enjoyed that. And this is something I wanted to show you that she reminds me of. I don't blame her. She reminds me regularly that she does have this capability. Yeah. Not afraid to let me know that she does know how to handle those. And as badass as I might think I am, that fucking thing would knock me down, let me tell you. Yeah, I ain't got enough Super Saiyan to get over that. And then the final picture I'm going to show you is one that's really special for her, really special for me. I mean, it's actually emotional for me. It's silly because I guess if you don't have the passion for Disney like we do, it wouldn't mean anything. But my wife loves Disney, and most of all, she loves the Winnie the Pooh characters. Well, one time we're at this meet and greet at the front of Magic Kingdom, and two of the characters were there, and my wife got to meet them, and they rotate them out. And right as they were rotating them out, it was my wife's turn to be up there. Well, the characters took it upon themselves. It was Eeyore, as a matter of fact. My wife's like a little kid there, and that's one of the reasons I love taking her to Disney so much. She was just agog, because she was with her characters and everything. Yeah, agog. I know. I used the word from 1911 or whatever it is. She was with the two characters, but as they were rotating out, they were bringing two new characters on. Eeyore grabbed a hold of her and motioned her to come here, and she got a picture with all four of them. Not a big deal to most people. You're like, oh, whoopee shit for you. That very rarely happens at Disney World. They only work, in certain groups and stuff like that. So Eeyore held the other characters all to stay in for a picture with her, and of course she quickly grabbed my daughter and my grandson and Braxton, Spaz kid, and got this picture. And you can see, look at the expression on her face. That's as genuine. That is as genuine joy as you'll ever see anywhere. And I love that picture. That picture actually is an emotional picture for me. It was one of the great moments of her life, and you can see it on her face. So that's a few. I just wanted to share a few of those pictures with you to give you a little more background. But she's somebody whose company I just always prefer. I like being around her. She makes me feel good. And that's the bottom line to anything. But all I can tell you guys, as you go forward in your relationships, and it doesn't matter, whether you're a guy with a girl with a guy, two girls, two guys, a guy, a girl, and an iguana. I don't care what the makeup of your relationship is. Look at it, because this is what I didn't do early on. Look at it honestly. Look at it carefully. Don't fool yourself, but don't be hard on yourself. And make sure that this person really makes you happy. You're not having to make yourself happy. You're not having to make excuses in your own mind. Think about the things you like to do, and think about if they're better with this person along with you, or if you sometimes find excuses so you can go out and do it on your own. It's not a relationship killer, but sometimes it's kind of telling about a relationship. I don't have any secrets from my wife. No, she always knows where I am, and that's by my design. I'm good with it. Like if me and my buddies go to a stag party or something, unfortunately I have a lot of friends who have to make up excuses. I tell her that I'm going to stag party. Gonna be strippers there? Damn well better be, because if there's not strippers there, I ain't going to stag party. You invite me to a Jack and Jill stag party, I ain't going. If there's not gonna be titties there, I'm not going. My wife knows I'm a pervert. She accepts it. She's just like he is what he is. She walks by and sees something that I'm watching on the computer. Maybe it was, I wouldn't do this, of course, because I'm not like that. But like when Jennifer Lawrence's nude pictures came out, that was horrible. If I had wanted to go look at them and my wife came by and saw I was looking at Jennifer Lawrence naked, I ain't clicking it off the screen, because Jennifer Lawrence and she'd be naked. I'd want to see that if I was that type of person. But she just kind of shakes her head and goes pig, which I can't argue with because it's true, and she moves along. But the biggest thing I can tell you, the most important thing, we always have each other's back above and beyond everything else. Always, always, always have each other's back. And I hope for each one of you, no matter who you want to find in a relationship, I hope that you find somebody that you feel about the same way I feel about my wife. And I hope you find somebody that can have their moment their moment of pure childlike joy, like my wife did that day in Disney with all 4 of the Pooh characters together, and that you can have a picture and look into that person's face and get that feeling of joy and that lump in your throat every time you see it, just like I do. That's what I hope for all you guys. And I will talk to you really soon.